of natural disaster and economic warfare. Sooner or later, we have to get there. That place which transcends political color and power. Hope springs eternal when people work hard and pray. 'Cause I know where there's a will, there's always a way. So I got this feeling everything is going to be alright. In this dark tunnel I see a light. Yeah, one-on-one, this simple education. Yeah, one-on-one, my brothers, we just have to talk. Yes, 'cause if we learn to respect what we've got, we can move this country, we can pull this country, we can push this country back on top.
The news comes up right after this.
Bluebird is back. The Dragon Windows Detroit Tires Bluebird T-shirt Carnival Band 2017 is here. Come shop with the best band on the road for Carnival Monday. Bluebird. For only $60, you get bottles, racks, bandanas, unlimited drinks, and the musical Beast of the Nation, the first serenade. Register today at Inland Revenue on High Street and groups of 10 or more get a special discount. Bluebird Carnival T-shirt band is brought to you by Dragon Windows and Detroit Tires Inc. And also proudly sponsored by Connolly Beer, Fine Foods Inc., GB Trucking, The Sign Man, and Lewis Whiskey. So it's a party with Bluebird on Carnival Monday. Register today.
Welcome to Q95's Lunchtime News Update for today, Monday, February 20th, 2017, brought to you through the kind compliments of Fresh Vitamins.
At Fresh Vitamins, we've got everything you need for health and well-being. We carry a wide range of all-natural sports nutrition and health supplements, plus gluten-free and organic foods, all from quality brands, including Solaray, Cal, Bob's Red Mill, Nature's Way, Source Naturals, and Decider Way. Fresh Vitamins has 2 convenient locations. We're at number 7, Great George Street, Roseau, and we're in Portsmouth, inside IGA Whitchurch Supermarket. Join our discount club and save up to 20% every day on your purchases. Like us on Facebook to stay informed about our products and specials. Come into Fresh Vitamins today and get healthy.
Welcome back. In local news, Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit says a consultant has been hired to strengthen the CBI program. Speaking on Kyrie FM's Hang program on Friday from Guyana, the Prime Minister said the consultant was hired last year to independently assess diplomatic appointments as well as create a more transparent program. He says he expects a report from the consultant in the near future. Meanwhile, opposition leader Lennox Linton reacted to the Prime Minister's statement by requesting the consultant's report. He views the statement as another story by the Prime Minister due to rising pressure from the international community. In other news, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley and the United States President Donald Trump yesterday agreed that both administrations will continue to strengthen the relationship which exists between the two countries. In a release yesterday, the office of the Prime Minister said the pledge came after Rowley had a conversation with Trump about 4:40 p.m. yesterday. The release said Rowley and Trump spoke about a number of issues of mutual interest to Trinidad and Tobago and the United States. And Iran has banned privately owned drones from flying over Tehran after at least 2 devices were shot in recent weeks over security fears. Licenses will now only be granted to relevant bodies and not individuals, military officials said. The unmanned aerial devices have caused several security scares after approaching sensitive areas. Drones have become increasingly popular in Tehran, but have angered locals who believe they infringe their privacy. And this concludes your lunchtime news update brought to you compliments Fresh Vitamins. I'm Linda Martin. Do join us again at 4 for the Prime Evening News Update. Good afternoon.
At Fresh Vitamins, we've got everything you need for health and well-being. We carry a wide range of all-natural sports nutrition and health supplements, plus gluten-free and organic foods, all from quality brands, including Solaray, Cal, Bob's Red Mill, Nature's Way, Source Naturals, and Decide Away. Fresh Vitamins has 2 convenient locations. We're at number 7, Great George Street, Roseau, and we're in Portsmouth, inside IGA Whitchurch Supermarket. Join our discount club and save up to 20% every day on your purchases. Like us on Facebook to stay informed about our products and specials. Come into Fresh Vitamins today and get healthy.
This is the talk on the block. Following a few developments at this time. Carlisle John Baptist, I know you are somewhere within the region of the vicinity of the court, magistrate's court, following a big story. But do you know the latest on Mr. Isaac, the MP for the Roseau Central constituency, who was taken into police custody this morning? A lot of people have been asking.
Well, Matt, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to your many listeners. I'm around the precincts of the court. You're very right. And a short while ago, I was up by police headquarters. I saw Mr. What's his name? Hector John a few minutes ago, and I asked about the young Joseph Isaac, and he told me he was still in police custody. That is as much as he was prepared to say to me at that point in time. Of course, I'm sure he's there with his battery of lawyers, like the others would have been.
All right, so you following that one there, Carlisle. Joseph Isaac still in police custody. You are following the big story too at the courts in Roseau. What's this about?
Well, the first issue is that of Cabral Douglas. The Caribbean Court of Justice dismissed that case, and I sent you an interview I had with the Attorney General of Dominica, Levi Peters. And if you go on the website of the Caribbean Court of Justice, the CCJ, you will see a release as it relates to that. And it says there, the first original jurisdiction application filed by a Dominican national, Mr. Cabral Douglas, was dismissed today by the Caribbean Court of Justice, CCJ. Mr. Cabral Douglas was an event organizer, claimed that his country, Dominica, caused the breach of his contract with Jamaican entertainer Tommy Lee Sparta, whose given name is Leroy Russell. Mr. Douglas, in the case Cabral Douglas versus the Commonwealth of Dominica, alleged that Dominica's action also caused multiple violations of his rights under the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas. The court ruled that he had failed to prove a breach of treaty rights, which were intended to benefit him directly. The court emphasized that it was not possible to access the original jurisdiction merely because another person's right under the treaty may have been breached. Mr. Leroy Russell, along with the 3 members of his entourage, all of whom were Jamaican nationals, were denied entry into Dominica, where he was sent to be the headline act at a concert in the town of Portsmouth on February 23, 2014. And it goes on basically to give a few more details. But basically, in a nutshell, the Caribbean Court of Justice has dismissed the case of Cabral Douglas against the Commonwealth of Dominica. And the other matter that I'm following, and I'm rushing into court them at, is the matter dealing with the gentlemen who were arrested. As I speak with you, they were in court in the box. That is 2 Haitian nationals and 1 Dominican. That's Mr. Clyde Ferreira of St. Joseph, Marcelino Olive of the Kalinago territory, Evans Paul of St. Joseph, Francis Afferton Bruno of Warner, Dantes Alexandre of Haiti, who resides in Portersville, and Cédric Sion of Haiti, who resides at Layou. It is alleged that on February 15, 2017, at Woodbridge Port, they did have in their possession a certain controlled drug, namely cocaine. That's one charge, possession. And the second charge is possession with intent to supply a quantity of cocaine more than 1 gram to with 34,000 grams with intent to supply. That is the charge. They are now before Magistrate Ali Gale in court number 2 as we speak.
Well, Carlisle, as soon as you can get anything, please let us know before 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But I'm going to play at this time, Carlisle, the reaction of Mr. Levi Peter, the Attorney General, and to Cabral Douglas's case there. Very interesting that the Jamaican won his case, and Cabral, the judges did not find favor with Cabral Douglas.
As the Jamaican won his case, I'm not aware of that.
You're not aware of that? There was some news emerging out of
wrong.
Jamaica.
No, it's wrong. It's wrong. He hasn't.
Yeah,
Still discussing.
They're still discussing that one. Oh, okay, Carlisle. Well, let's pay Levi Peter, and of course we will be following you very closely in the courts this afternoon. Thank you very much with this big one there. Let's move to Levi Peter.
Further, the ruling of the court, as you've heard, is that the application of Mr. Cabral Douglas has been dismissed. So obviously, what I would hope is that the media will give that decision the wide coverage that they have given to Mr. Cabral Douglas's claims and his self-publicism of the whole issue. As I said to you, I think when we spoke previously, when you've asked me a few times about the matter, I have always been quietly confident that we would succeed in this matter, if not at this stage, at the next stage. But I said to you, I think the last occasion that we spoke, that I was confident based on the hearing that we had, that on the submissions that we had made written and on the oral submissions that we had made in court, that we would prevail. And the judgment obviously has proved me right. Clearly, Mr. Douglas is entitled, as any citizen is, to seek legal redress if he feels that he is in any way aggrieved by the actions of the state or indeed any other party. But I think clearly in this matter, if a person looks objectively at the situation, and if one looks at the claim that he made, the amount that he was claiming, and a number of other factors, it should be quite apparent that if he does have a claim, it is not by this route. So I think, unless there are specifics, that's what I would say. I don't wish to really say too much. If there's something I can enlighten on, I'm happy to do so.
Well, I was just about to ask a question because you would have received the copies of the judgment. If maybe you can tell us in a nutshell, well, yes, it is dismissed, but what exactly that the CCJ judges are actually saying.
Well, obviously, the judgment having been now made public, the judgment will be available for people to look at, read if they wish to. In essence, as I've also said previously, this was an application by Mr. Douglas for special leave. The Caribbean Court of Justice, in its original jurisdiction, is really based on the Treaty of Chaguaramas, in fact, the revised treaty. And it provides, really, it's between states, it's a treaty between states. But there are some rights and obligations, if you want, or benefits particularly, that flow from the treaty that, to use the language of the treaty, inure to the benefit of individuals. So whilst the treaty is between states, there are some benefits that the treaty and the law supporting it provides that an individual, a national of one of the member states, is entitled in their own right to enforce. However, to do so, you have to apply for special leave under Article 222 of the treaty. And there are a number of criteria effectively that you have to meet. One of them is that you have an arguable case, and the other is that you are prejudiced. So any right would have to enter directly to the individual seeking to enforce that. Mr. Douglas was seeking to say that he was entitled to the benefit that accrued or inured to the Jamaican nationals by way of, in particular, Articles 7, 8, 45, and 46, so the articles that he originally relied on. He subsequently applied to amend, and the court gave him leave to amend his grounds, and he then went on that's Article 7, Article 8, Article 36, and 37. And in short, the court has found that he has not satisfied the criteria of Article 222 to bring himself within the provisions to enable him to be someone who, as an individual or as a national, was entitled to enforce the grounds that he claimed had been breached. They obviously addressed each ground and set out reasons why, but that gets more detail by reading the actual judgment.
What option does he have from what you know?
Well, I wouldn't wish to be his legal advisor, so I don't know. The option he has is to consult with his legal advisors further and see whether there's any option that he wishes to pursue, or indeed can pursue with greater success than he has had now. But I don't wish to seek or to prefer to him legal advice.
That was the Attorney General speaking to the court judgment on Mr. Cabral Douglas. The court has actually dismissed this claim, huh? This is Janae, treat them right. When we come back, we'll give you the report from Win FM, huh? As they continue to follow the big passport story in Dominica. That Janae, treat them right.
Just to visit the cemetery, and I'm sure that you see ages and sizes that have gone all to the great beyond. Some of us when we are young and we feeling ever so strong, so instead of doing good, we spend time indulging in wrong. Never think you get old and gray, and for mistakes we will pay. You better live up today, so good will come your way. But no one has the divine right, to treat the elderly with such spite. Some of them on the streets they roam, 'cause they can't complete grotto hole. Treat them right. This is a call to everybody. Treat our seniors with some dignity. Morning, excuse me, show some courtesy. 'Cause they are the pillars of our society. Sing with me now. Whoa, whoa, respect the elderly. Whoa, whoa, treasures of our country. Whoa, whoa, if we forget our foundation, then we doomed as a nation.
Let's go to St. Kitts and, of course, bring you a piece of the bigger picture.
In Dominica, opposition leader Lennox Linton is warning that there could be repercussions for the spate of arrests of leading opposition figures being undertaken by the police. There were 3 arrests over the past week, including that of Dominica Freedom Party executive member Johnson Boston. United Workers' Party leader Linton said Saturday that there were clear indications that the police intended arresting him as well.
The police is pulling out all the stops to have me arrested.
And Linton questioned the arrests being made on the heels of the February 7 opposition protest rally that was followed by violence in the capital, Roseau, that resulted in looting of some business places.
What was this about arresting Johnson Boston and then releasing him without charge? What was this about arresting Thompson Fontaine and releasing him without charge? What was this about arresting Claudia Sanford? when is this going to end? And when you subject the citizens of Dominica to such blatant injustices, what do you expect them to do? Do you expect them to come to bow at the feet of the police organization? They're not going to do that. Because all around the world, injustice is something that human beings fight against. And you're not going to make injustice our way of life in Dominica. You're not going to make injustice our way of life in Dominica. We will fight it. So come look for me. Like I said, I'm not in hiding. Let's get this over and done with. But remember what you're doing. And remember why it will anger people and why it will make people feel that they have to resist and they have to stand up and they have to push back.
Dominica Freedom Party's Johnson Boston's home was searched. He was then taken to police headquarters and questioned about statements he made at the February 7 protest rally organized by Linton's United Workers' Party and the DFP. Like other speakers there, Boston had called for the resignation of Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit.
When we look at everything and the way our country's been run, we must say to Roosevelt Skerrit, guilty, guilty, guilty as charged. And brothers and sisters, enough is enough. Today we are out and we are ready to go out throughout the length and breadth of Dominica, and they are trembling. Well, I tell you, this movement has just started, and we must go throughout the length and breadth of Dominica and say we want a good government. We no longer want Toussaint Lavis and Escobar to rule our country. And brothers and sisters, the Freedom Party is with you in the struggle, because this struggle belongs to Dominica. This struggle belongs to you, because when our names will go in the drain, all of us will suffer.
The opposition United Workers' Party argues that the issuing of diplomatic passports to people reported to be of dubious character has hurt Dominica, as has, they claim, the alleged mismanagement of the Citizenship by Investment program by Prime Minister Skerrit. They also point to banks in Dominica now being fearful of handling CBI funds because of a concern that some of it might be tainted. The Dominica government has rejected those arguments, contending that the opposition and parliamentary leader of the opposition, Lennox Linton in particular, are intent on destroying the program. Prime Minister Skerrit has said that there is a lot of, quote, misinformation, inaccurate statements, and downright lies circulating about the program, end quote. According to the Prime Minister, the clear intent is to undermine or destroy the CBI. He says the, quote, calculated and coordinated attack on the CBI program by elements in Dominica with support from external elements is causing serious threat to its continued success. We should not allow this to happen, end quote. The government's position is that Dominica operates its CBI program in an open and transparent manner, with the main objective being to attract high-quality applicants. There is no love lost between Prime Minister Skerrit and opposition leader Linton, who are at odds over the recent diplomatic passport scandal involving Iranian Alireza Monfared, an alleged sanctions buster and embezzler.
Because you had a criminal accused, Iranian man, involved, the Iranians say, in the embezzlement of billions of dollars. He lived in our country, under your watch, under your protection.
This is a member of the gang of wild boys who attempted to overthrow your democratically elected government yesterday. Not getting what they wanted, which was to storm and occupy the Prime Minister's office, and with no new instruction from the leaders to abandon the mission of destruction, the crowd proceeded to do as the leaders had been advocating.
All right, Dominica, we just received the news there that the MP for the Roseau Central Sit, who was arrested and brought to the headquarters, has just been released. And Kopel is one of the persons on the outside of the police headquarters. Kopel, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you, Mark.
How are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you.
All right, Joseph Isaac released?
Yes, Joseph Isaac released. No charge to Joseph Isaac. And I'm asking myself why Mr. Skerrit is putting the police officers through that. just going to people's home, ransacking people's property, ransacking people's homes, traumatizing people's children, and at the end of it, you're letting them go. It cannot be right and it cannot be fair in this country. And as I speak to you, many other people saying, Skerrit must go. Skerrit must go because they are fed up, man. They are fed up. We are fed up.
Is Joseph Isaac close to you?
Yes,
Let me see if I can speak to him, please. Yes.
Yes. Hold on. Yes, ma'am.
Joseph Isaac, you've been released. Can you tell us about the ordeal from morning?
Yes, I'm not hearing you. Yes.
Joseph, I'm saying, can you tell us what happened this morning? I've just been told that you've been released.
Well, in essence, the police picked me up this morning early, maybe a little after 5. So I was detained, got to the police station with several questions for hours, and the police told me at the end that I'm free to vote.
Is that a joke?
Well, no, the struggle continues, you know, man. But let me tell you, there are many people, members of the opposition. We have sacrificed so much for Dominica. You understand? We have sacrificed a lot. I myself, I went to university, I came back. I've invested in Dominica, worked under all the different political administration, on the United Workers' Party, on the Freedom Party, on the Labour Party. I'm a person I invested in agriculture. I invest in quick service restaurants. I invest in other businesses. Everything I've invested in Dominica. What you are seeing there is an attack on right-thinking intellects of Dominica. And that is just showing you the setup of a dictatorship, building and building. But I wanted to say something because this morning through everything, all I was saying in my mind, when I get out to talk to the Dominican public, I'm going to ask the Dominican public, here and abroad, they need to search their conscience. Because when people like me, my mother is 82 years old now under stress. When people like us have to face all those kind of victimization, all the pressures, people need to ask themselves a question now. And it has to start now, today. They have to ask a question, if they want us in politics, if they want the intellect in politics, if they want business people in politics, if they want the best brains of Dominica in politics. Because what is happening is, you have a regime, they know what they have done. They have damaged our image by their actions and inactions and policies in regard to the diplomatic passport. But you know what? Instead of focusing on it and apologizing and explaining to the Dominican public, they have decided to go and attack members of parliament. That cannot be right. So Dominicans have to decide whether they want a dictator to run the country or they want a team of people who are standing for democracy to run the country. And in fact, I discussed that with some of my team members yesterday. We have to put that on the table fair and straight. People have to decide, do you want a man, Roosevelt Skerrit, to lead the country who has been mounting a dictatorship, or whether you want patriots of this country who have sacrificed their whole life. I don't have to call our name. You know what Lennox have sacrificed. You know what people like Ezekiel Basil have sacrificed. You know what Joshua Francis have sacrificed. And I can call the other names like Danny Lugay, arrested before. So we have to decide what we want in this country. To me, in fact, I'm not going to talk too much. What I will be saying is Skerrit must go. We are resolved that he has to resign. He has to resign. When you resort to attacking members of parliament, that means you have no other recourse. All you are doing is because you know you are doing wrong things. Check it out. Right now, you have poor people in this country. They can't even get proper jobs. You have people, fishermen, struggling, farmers struggling. We have fertilizer. We hiding the fertilizer. And when you have people like us trying to champion the cause, according to our constitution, you cannot have only one side. You must have different opinions, different views in the country. And then they will arrest you because you are fighting for them to talk the truth on certain matters. I'll end my saying, Matt. Think of it. We are brothers who are policemen. We have brothers and sisters who are farmers. I went to the police station today, and if you see the dilapidated condition of the inside the building, the environment is not conducive for working. You understand? So these are some of the questions we have to ask ourselves. Are we satisfied with the unemployment situation in Dominica? The question is, if we are investing in business, are we satisfied that our businesses are thriving? You have people like Nassif and them with all the money in Dominica closing down their businesses. That is an indication to tell you that our economy is collapsing day by day. And in the collapse of the economy, you have a mounting dictatorship resorting to arresting members of parliament with different views when we asking questions about how our country is being run.
Joseph Isaac, even after your deal this morning, you feel more resolute to move forward.
But Matt, you can hear my voice. I'm energized. I'm not afraid of those people. I'm not afraid. If you see me, I even still smiling. Yeah, the people there. Garrett more! Garrett more! Garrett more! Garrett more! Garrett more! Garrett more! Matt, I'm going to bring it to your children. I'm going to make you hear the school children now. Come, children, come. Hear them. Everybody, let's go. Let's go. Matt, that is what is happening across Dominica. And our Prime Minister has to understand in the best interest of this country, he needs to resign. We have no other course of action. You understand? And Matt, when I'm not so passionate, we'll have a sober interview.
Thank you very much. Joseph Isaac, outside of the police headquarters, has just been released after he was picked up by the police sometime about 5:30 this morning. Dominica, that's the latest on the situation right here.
February 20th to the Lagos Street Jam featuring all your favorite Calypsonians. And on Tuesday, February 21st, we end the Booyah Day with a grand Booyah Street Jam live in Lagos featuring all your Booyah artists. This Wednesday, it's the annual Stardom King of the Dead. This Thursday, get ready for Mascap Champ of the Camp live at the Eddie Andre Pottersville Savannah. It's the DSC Mass Jamboree 2017. Also happening is Panorama planned by the Bay on Friday, February 24th. This Friday, almost lit to the Eddie Andre Festival City, Pottersville for the National Queen Show. Come see 7 ladies vie for the prestigious title of Miss Dominica 2017. This Saturday from 12 noon to 7 p.m. we go into the People's Park for PFS. Calypso Finance is on this Saturday. We climax our carnival celebrations Monday and Tuesday. Traditional parade and street jumper. Get ready. Mass Dominic 2017. Dominic Kidu. Dominica Carnival is brought to you by the government of Dominica, Discover Dominica Authority, the Dominica Festivals Committee, and headline sponsor Flow.
$132. Let's take a phone call. We'll close with the John Batchelor Show. Hello, talk to me.
I brought a blessings to you, sir.
To you, sir.
Matt, I mean, come on. That is beyond the provocation, Matt. Matt, that is beyond the provocation. Matt, Skerritt and them trying to make an elephant disappear in a very tiny room. But, Matt, I mean, when you had Melissa Popon, Skerritt, Justin Charles, Kenneth Darrow, and all the rest, calling out people to come downtown in red when they know that massive meeting was taking place. Matt, I want to commend the labor rights who come to the realization they refuse to allow these criminals to make their millions and that they're poor and unemployed. Their children are prostituting, selling drugs, stealing anything to survive. And calling them out to come down to town to confront the opposition. If labor rights were that foolish as maybe 15 years, 10 years ago, 8 years ago, labor rights beginning to get smart. There would be blood in tongue. Then you heard nothing from Daniel Carbon and the churches and the private sector and all of them. You heard nothing from them. Now you have Skerrit and them. They're looking for something to make the elephant disappear. My brothers, the elephants are in the room and it is not going anywhere. Thank you.
Thank you too. It's 1:34. Hello. Yes, hello.
As a Dominican, I'm feeling sorry. And I'm saying to the church members, the Catholic Church, and the other churches, say something before it gets too late, because the government is taking in trouble. If it gets in trouble, and when trouble comes, I'm going to see blood, sweat, and tears.
Hello, talk to me. Hello.
Good afternoon, Matt.
How are you, sir?
Matt, I am very concerned about the health and welfare of Charles Angelo Savrin, our president. I am not seeing, I am not hearing. I am very concerned, Matt. I will not give the reasons why I am concerned, yet I am very, very concerned. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Let's listen to a little of the John Batchelor Show at this time.
John Batchelor. This is the John Batchelor Show. Gregory Copley, the editor and publisher of Defense and Foreign Affairs, helping me to understand the story of Dominica. It's a small, beautiful Caribbean island. It is part of the Commonwealth, I learned from Gregory, so this is not just isolated into the New World. It connects to a global enterprise that is a treasure for people who belong to the Commonwealth. It's a great privilege as a country. So I can presume that London and other parts of the Commonwealth are keen on Dominica's governance being transparent and successful. We have breaking news of the arrest in Dominica in these last hours in Roseau, a man, Johnson Boston. He is of the opposition party, Freedom Party, Dominica Freedom Party. A photograph I saw on Twitter, brought to my attention and Gregory's attention, showed someone being corralled by police authorities, very large police authorities, early in the morning in Rousseau, and I can presume that was the arrest. This follows the several reports last week of detentions of opposition figures, not all from the Freedom Party, from other parties, and harassment by the police, though as of Gregory's last reporting, no charges had been brought. Gregory, a very good evening to you. Johnson Boston's detention, this follows a pattern, and we can presume he's well and will be released without charges. Let us review. The government of Roosevelt Skerrit, it's under pressure. It began with a 60 Minutes report at the beginning of the year about selling passports, and then there's smuggling, there's money laundering, there are rascals running in and out. You've mentioned in particular a man named Eng, who is under detention or arrest in New York for trying to bribe a UN official. But you now bring to my attention that this passport selling has been going on for many years, and Gregory, it sure looks like a racket. Good evening to you.
Good evening, John. Well, yes, it is a racket. It's based on a fairly legitimate proposal, which many governments have, including many Western governments, of citizenship by investment, where if you invest enough in the country, that you can get residency and ultimately get a passport. This started, by the way, in Dominica. They started their CBI program in 1993. It was abused by an earlier government, and that led to the downfall of the government. When the current Prime Minister, Roosevelt Skerrit, came into power in Dominica, he resurrected it on an industrial scale. None of this due diligence, although they claim they do, but really just you pay the money, you get the diplomatic passport or a conventional passport. But the big scandal has been particularly with the diplomatic passports, where a significant number of people with Dominica diplomatic passports have subsequently been exposed as being involved in criminal enterprises and have been arrested, or they've been, a lot of them are literally on the run now on international warrants in Europe and the like. And some of them have been jailed. One of them was just arrested and extradited from St. Martin in the Caribbean back to Italy, where he's facing money laundering charges, bribery and corruption, and so on. He's not a Dominican; he's an Italian gangster, but he was travelling on a Dominica diplomatic passport, and in fact escaped arrest in Italy earlier when he showed his diplomatic passport, and the Italian government couldn't arrest him, even though he was also an Italian. But subsequently, and I believe under pressure, the Dominica government revoked that diplomatic passport, and that gentleman was then by that stage fled to the Caribbean, to St. Martin, where he was subsequently arrested. Now, in fact, Dominica had named him as their ambassador to the Food and Agricultural Organization, the FAO, which is headquartered, of course, in Rome. That was Francesco Corallo. But it was interesting that he, although an Italian, could use this diplomatic passport to escape arrest. Clearly, many governments are no longer going to accept this. Corello himself was named in 2009, was also named ambassador to Monaco. So anyway, that was another one. Yeah, that was Eric Torner, who was named ambassador and permanent delegate to.
Gregory, when you buy a diplomatic passport from Roosevelt Skerritt's government, does that mean you can go in and out of airports as a diplomat? I mean, this is routine. This is astonishing. You've been speaking about Corello, Francesco Corello, but there's a long list that you brought to my attention. I thought Eng, the fellow who's been detained in New York, was just one of them. Look at this, Gregory. Jonathan Seeker Reed Brown, born in the UK, resides in Florida, holds diplomatic passport, stroke DP 0000450, issued June 4th, 2015, expires June 3rd, 2020, given to him by Roosevelt Skerritt, appointing him ambassador at large, so he can travel to and from the United Kingdom, to and from France and America, come in and out on that passport.
Sure, absolutely.
And
I mean, these are valuable documents, but of course, when Dominica discredits them in the way that it's doing, not only does it absolutely tarnish Dominica, but it also tarnishes pretty much all other countries in the region whose diplomatic passports become suspect. So it becomes a case where the whole Caribbean family of nations are really starting to resent this, and it's why with the crisis which Skerritt is now in, that no other Caribbean state has come to his aid, not even his former staunch allies in Cuba and Venezuela.
you spoke, or you have corresponded with Anthony Astafan, a man who presents himself as the Prime Minister's lawyer. I believe there's some family connection as well. Mr. Astafan refuted many of the charges. 60 Minutes made charges. Other people have brought forward doubts about Roosevelt Skerritt's conduct. Did Anthony Astafan explain some of these strange passports and these odd characters and how they're subsequently detained or rebuked by other governments? Is there a general explanation? Are they just unlucky in Dominica?
They're not unlucky. It's clear that their due diligence existed only in the form of asking for the check or the wire transfer. Mr. Astafan has never offered an explanation of any of these things other than to deny that there was any A, criminal misconduct on the part of Mr. Skerritt, and B, any financial reward for him. But the reality is that we know that there has been financial reward. We now have the documentary evidence of that, and there's a lot more out there. That money was going to the Prime Minister and his colleagues. That evidence, I might point out, is also has been seen by the United Kingdom government, for example, because they have a profound interest in Dominica as a Commonwealth member. So I think we can start to expect that some fuss is about to be made on this, that the spotlight we've put on it over the past couple of weeks is about to become even brighter.
Of course, that was the John Batchelor Show, syndicated across the United States, continuing to show interest in Dominica and the issues as they emerge. When we come back, we'll talk to members again of the Dominica Freedom Party. Johnson Boston in the house, Michael Astafan. Hello, talk to me.
Matt, the elephant is growing. The elephant is growing. Third Eye, give me a call.
Hello, talk to me.
Matt, I want to know how many bad picks must Roosevelt Skerritt have in the diplomatic corps that have been hunted or wanted before everybody realizes that there's something very wrong. Good afternoon.
Hello, talk to me.
Yes, Matt.
Yes.
This is Martin Edwards. I'm calling from New Jersey on
Okay.
behalf of the Dominicans for Democracy Group.
Uh-huh.
Matt, we are looking in, and we are looking at the situation every day. Every day we get up, there's the same news. And this is so disheartening.
Well, you just heard that Mr. Isaac has been released after being picked up at 5:30 this morning.
Yes, we heard. And I'm just calling in to make a release, to the Dominican people.
Go ahead, because we don't have too much time.
Yes, thank you, Matt. Every day comes news of continued state of repression of Dominican activists on Dominica. We will continue to expose the unprecedented arrest of opposition and democracy activists in Dominica. The arrest escalated after Prime Minister Skerritt made the laughable claim that the opposition and democracy activists attempted a coup involving a soundtrack during its February 7, 2017 rally. This is the worst pattern of state suppression of democracy activists since Dominica gained independence from Great Britain on November 3, 1978. Today, they came for our brother, patriot, MP for Roseau Central, Joseph Isaac, who is now released without charge. This reckless incitement of the population comes at the height of the carnival season. Clearly, the regime is keen on stoking provocation and cares nothing about social peace. In the midst of constant arrest of our patriots, some may feel this regime is ascendant. In fact, to the contrary, this is thrashing the desperate regime which has lost the moral authority to lead a country. The regime is seeking to incite violence and use that violence as a pretext to destroy the opposition. This is a path followed by a kleptocratic and tyrannical leaders. However, they are doomed to fail. It is important that we maintain the non-violent nature of our cause and so win over those misguided fellow citizens who excuse corruption. It is by non-violent action we shall gain respect of our fellow citizens and the international community. Skerritt desires to incite violence so he can profile himself as a law and order leader worthy of support. Our non-violent struggle must focus on educating ourselves on our Constitution, educating ourselves on civic duty, and collaborating across the divisive boundaries of party. At all times, let us put the best interest of the country first. Let us chip away at the kleptocratic regime, which has sold our nation's highest international badge of service, that of diplomat, to money launderers, U.S. and UN sanctioned busters, embezzlers, thieves, mafiosi, and other criminal fugitives. They have debased our nation's good name on the world stage and yet have the audacity to blame the opposition for the injury they have inflicted on our reputation as a people and the crimes against our nationality. We seek to build a better society. We must educate ourselves about the wisdom in peaceful and non-violent protests gained by those in the U.S. civil rights movement, led by Martin Luther Jr. King and others across the globe. While we make change, we desire to preserve our brand as peace, loving, and welcoming people. Such an approach will aid our cause. This is the only thing that is going to walk us from that state of repression, from the streets of Bogota that Prime Minister Skerritt has brought to Dominica. Thank you very much, Matt. This is Marcelin Edwards for the Dominicans of Democracy Group in New Jersey.
Thank you very much. Before I get to the Dominican Freedom Party for the last 10 minutes, Let's listen to this. Let's listen to this very carefully.
During the Soviet dictatorship of Joseph Stalin, he was a brutal dictator with a mind of his own. On one fateful day, Stalin came to a Politburo meeting with a live chicken. Standing in front of an audience, he started to pluck the feathers of the live chicken off one by one. The chicken trembled in pain, blood trickling out of its pores. It gave out grievous cries, but Stalin, being a cruel dictator, continued without remorse, plucking the feathers out until the chicken was completely naked, after which he threw the chicken on the ground. The naked chicken was staggering in pain. Stalin goes into his pocket, and from his pockets, he took out some chicken food and started to throw it at the poor and helpless creature. The poor chicken, in pain, started eating, and Stalin started walking towards his seat. As he walked away, he kept dropping some feeds on the floor, and the chicken followed him and sat feeding from his feet. Joseph Stalin then turned to members of his political party leadership. He said, "This chicken represents the people. You must disempower them, brutalize them, beat them up, starve them, and then leave them. If you do this, go into your pockets and give them peanuts when they are in that helpless and desperate situation, they will blindly follow you for the rest of their life, worshiping you. They will think you are a hero forever. They will forget that you're responsible for their sorrowful situation in the first place." Breathtaking, isn't it? Now take a look at all the people some Nigerians are busy defending on social media. Take a look at those they call their heroes. They are the same people who plunged Nigeria into the situation she is. They are the same people who are responsible for their predicaments. Did you see the number of people that thronged to Saraki's house last Christmas to go collect peanuts? Your guess is as good as mine. Nigerians kill those they should defend and defend those they should kill.
This is Talk on the Block. With me for the last 10 minutes, Michael Astafan. What do you make of the developments today? Johnson Boston is also in the house. He will speak to us in a while.
Well, I'm very concerned, Matt, because what I see going on is clearly a distraction to try to move us away from the real issue and to position us in a position where they can perpetrate some further violations against our constitutional rights. I think it is clear discrimination because there are members of the ruling party who have done worse than any member of the opposition. And no investigation.
What do you mean worst, Michael? Explain.
Just look at the bombing of Goni Emmanuel. No investigation. Okay, the bin bubble and fertilizer bubble. No investigation. The transfer of his property. It was a mistake. Senior counsel went and said it was a mistake. After the attorney said he used the value the client gave him. So you see, it shows a clear violation of our constitutional rights because you cannot use the law in support of the Labour Party, and where is the opposition? No evidence you're violating them and abusing their constitutional right. Matt, what investigation? This is a kangaroo court investigation. If they ever had evidence of a coup, the truck was there, we Matt. Our truck can go and overtake Financial Center without guns. You have snipers and armed police. All they had to do was to search the truck. But they know it was something they were planning, so they just ignored that. Because they know they wouldn't find nothing. All now, I think the Prime Minister was disgruntled that his labor rights didn't come there in volumes and create problems. So now, he has to create the problem himself. You know, for him to say there are 25 people there and 450 people, it clearly shows either the Prime Minister is getting very dysfunctional and blind, or he's getting crazy. It doesn't make any sense, man.
It appears that they're picking up opposition members of the opposition, United Workers and Freedom Party. Of course, they picked up Johnson Boston there on the weekend. Are you intimidated, Michael?
Not at all. I'm very resolute. I honestly feel that it has given me some strength to examine the nature of the Labour Party. Because how can you have a party and you have a leader embarrassing the entire party, the country and the region, and you sit down there, go on the radio and talk as senior counsel like you know what you're talking about? He's in complete denial of what is going on. Because any Matt, just look at what happened with the IPO. Any intelligent person can see you go into parliament, to change a law so that you can appoint a gentleman who is not a lawyer as chairman, and you know Charles Sabra will always appoint him, and one Labour Party, and you're going to have one opposition member there. That is basically a kangaroo court IPO. So you will always get your way. And what happened? After that was done, the first thing they said, they're not interested in anything the Prime Minister did. Do you think that is the action of an honest person? It appears it's the action of somebody who recognizes that he's committed so much violation against the laws of Dominica that he's going to change the IPO so he can continue to do that. But the people are very concerned, and they're going to ask for his resignation. They've asked for his resignation, and they're going to ensure that they continue until he resigns.
All right, let's speak to Johnson Boston. Johnson Boston, developments continue. The arrest of another parliamentarian.
Yeah, well, Matt, good afternoon. Good afternoon to your listeners in Dominica and the world over. In fact, people are tuning and they're listening to what's happening in Dominica. I got a call from a friend all the way in Germany.
Wow.
Who saw this thing and told me, man, he was so disappointed in what transpired in my arrest and, of course, in the ransacking of my home. Now, I want to extend my solidarity with Joseph Isaac and to all those who may be on the list, to my solidarity with them. And to say to you that we're in the last week for Carnival. This is what you call the crunch time, right? And the government is not concerned about the economic survival of the country, because at that time, the hotels, the business persons are looking forward to make something out of the Carnival, and it seems that they have no regard for that. I'm not hearing from the Carnival Organizing Committee what they think. They are silent. I'm not hearing from the churches what they think. I'm not hearing from persons in Dominica. We have respect, and we felt that when our society is in crisis, they can come and lend a voice. I mean, I'm not saying go out there and criticize the Prime Minister and have a fight with him, but to say injustice should not be, be allowed to stand and so forth. To go to a person home at 5:30, 5:50 in the morning and ransack their home, looking in fridge, looking in under mattresses for what? Document inciting violence and so on, which is to me completely nonsense. And I feel too that those who are playing the Prime Minister's statement and defending that really, to me, should search their conscience, because you can't tell me, as Michael said, a truck with a high fare on it can overthrow government. And to overthrow government is not a simple thing, because citizens can remove their government in office by way of the ballot or by the way of dissatisfaction of the government, where you call on the government to resign. And the government will not just walk out. This will take time when people put pressure, people don't go to work and so forth, and the government eventually will fall. Like we saw in St. Vincent and in St. Kitts, when there was some crisis where people did not go to work, and then CARICOM and the OECS intervened, and then there was early election and so on. That can happen. But if you attempt to remove the government by force of arm, that is treason, And the punishment of that is death. So we're dealing with a serious matter here, and I heard a caller this morning said, we have to be very, very careful that you do not find the officers who are going to your home planting something there to frame you and so on. So all of this to me is a big unnecessary nonsense that is going on, and I think the government, the Prime Minister, the Commissioner of Police should sit down and tell themselves, are we doing that for a good reason, or are we doing it for political reason? And I think this is not, for example, it has been said around that they're looking for Lennox, they're looking for this, they're looking for that. So you now, here in your country, and you cannot relax yourself, because you never know who will come and when they will come. So I think these people are members of parliament in parties tomorrow, who knows, can be government. And therefore, if you do your investigation, you carry your investigation, and if you need us to come to this police headquarters to answer questions, you call. We will walk in freely. And then if we refuse to cooperate, then you arrest somebody. The public will understand, well, we called you, you're not sure. But to just come out early morning, a person told me yesterday, but it was when I saw it on TV, on YouTube. I said, well, I never knew you in drugs. I never knew you was a run corner to have almost 12 police officers in camouflage coming to you. It's really, really, really unfortunate. And I feel very disappointed for what is happening. And I feel very disturbed that the police is being used as a Totomakut Mongoose Gang type of police, and they themselves as officers. Yeah, you may have to do your work, but you have to search your conscience. Are you doing what is right? Are you taking orders from somebody who is crazy and just want to disrupt things? Because to me, if I was Prime Minister and you have to continue, I would say, okay, Carnival is on, let us suspend the thing until after Carnival. But you continue as if, well, you're provoking the country, you're provoking the people, you're pushing the people. So at one time, people say enough is enough. And I feel a person like that, once you lose your cool, you lose your senses, the best thing for you is to leave the seat of government and let the people decide.
Let me allow Michael to close up at this time. It's a little before 2.
Did you hear the Minister of Security and the Prime Minister say, Tony Astafan say, Peter Seja on Wednesday night, Cecil Joseph and a female parliamentarian speak on DBS, right? And they said they're proud of the police who didn't fire back. Matt, I have a video to show policemen chasing young people. Why would they lie and say the police never fired back? Young people, and they firing live wrongs at the people. And you go into the media and say that never happened. Matt, it clearly shows that the Labour Party is desperate and they're trying to rig up something against the opposition, and they know that their time is at hand and they need to come clean with the people. It's time they come clean, and I'm appealing to Commissioner Carbon that these tapes are out there. You need to get the Minister of Security and the Prime Minister to apologize to the nation. You cannot tell me police are firing and I check over 40 wrongs, Matt, chasing young fellas, wrong Rosso, and you telling me that the police, you're proud of the police that didn't. Those police who fired these wrongs, either they were blanks and they were creating a